And we are actually in the studio today. We're not going to be doing a studio tour. There's still some construction going on and some final details here. However, I wanted to bring in our content director, Nik Ferrari. This is the guy that's kind of behind the scenes, making all of the cool content that we're putting out there. And so he has I feel like a unique perspective, and he gets to see, who we're bringing onto the show. He gets to see all of the aspects of the business. He is on every single partner call, every single marketing call. He understands the direction of where we're going, but he's always thinking about it from a content perspective. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to collaborate with Nik in some of the things that we're doing. But I wanted to bring him on here so you guys could get a chance to meet him, and you guys could also just hear kind of what's going on and what's upcoming. And then me and him may just talk about some of the things that we're both excited about. So let me introduce you guys to Nik Ferrari.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning, Nik. That's his thing, by the way. It doesn't matter what time of day or night it is for Nik Ferrari. It is always morning.
It's always a new day.
But Nik, I mean, you've been with us since the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
Before PREIshare was even a thing, me and you put together a little sizzle reel that we still use on some occasions, actually, talking about the concept of what this was, and now to see it to what it's become. I mean, give the folks some of your perspective on it all.
You're right. It's been over a year in the making to get to this point. It's been a struggle, but the studio looks amazing. And my biggest challenge now to get like the production up to where my standards are, and the standards hopefully for the whole team, is getting really the look, the lights, the sound, the audio dialed in. So we bring in our guests, we really impress them. We have really just the focus is on the conversation. And we have this whole place set up, and we'll show you in a second, but we have it all set up. So I basically exit the room, and the sound, the cameras, everything's on remote. We've got it dialed in. Really, really cool Blackmagic setup for cameras if you guys are camera guys or girls. And I can do everything remotely while talking. We still have interaction with you guys, and you guys can do the conversations that need to be had. So I designed it around that. I helped kind of like create it. So it's just like the conversation is you and them, you and Kalani, our hosts, and the investors, passive investors or syndicators, or whoever we kind of bring on as real estate professionals.
Right. Speaking of which, I would love, if you guys are watching this right now, I would love you to chime in. Who would you love to see on this show? Like, what real estate professional would you love to see on the Fundication Show in the studio? Type that into the comments. For you, Nik, who's your favorite guest that we've had so far? I know it's a tough question, so let me rephrase that because I don't want to offend anybody, right? But talk about some of the guests that you felt like were some of the best conversations.
Yeah, it's tough because you make friends with them and then they watch our content later and like, wait a second, I was the favorite. I tried it. So I spent a lot of time trying to find, because we didn't have this studio, right? It was, again, a year in the works to build this thing out. So we're going to have some amazing content here, and I'm super excited. But before then, all last year, we were doing remotes. So I'm looking around town, looking for awesome, but also potentially with the cityscape, finding large deal and large contract, constructions that would make sense for our audience. So I had that background in that. One of them was just downtown. So we're on that rooftop.
That was one of my favorite shoots too. Like every time I see that content, I just like, man, that was such an epic backdrop.
So exactly. And we were really trying to impress. Was that our second, maybe the second or third?
I think that was really our first guest.
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
As far as outside guests.
That's right.
Because we've had a lot of folks on that are members of the team, and Mike Anderson, who for a long time was an advisor to us and is now our CEO and president. We had shot some stuff with him prior, but it was Matt Strong that we had on for that one, and he was the first outside guest.
Yeah. So I'm soaking up what Matt Strong is saying, because it's awesome. you know, all the valuable insights and, you know, just what he just so open about everything. It was great. And that's what we want on the show. That's what we want, the transparency on from someone like that. And, you know, the beast that he is doing all so many deals. And then the background was the picturesque, you know, beautiful skyline of the city. Yeah. So outside rooftop. So that was great. The biggest challenge there is, of course, outside, daytime. What is it? It's lighting. It's really a challenge to get that sun down. So it was me putting up this kind of stuff, these soft boxes outside, which is really, really challenging. So now we can control so much more. Yeah. And we can literally,
I remember some of the shadows that you were like trying to
yeah
creatively, you know, edit the video around so that you didn't see the shadows of people, you know, behind the scenes.
Yeah. So all that kind of stuff, it was a challenge outside, especially as I did have an assistant that day.
Yeah.
But usually it's just a one-man crew. So, and that's essentially why we designed it, you know, this way too, is it can be ran by just one person, or like it can be actually ran off of your phone. So just so you know, I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that, but I know now.
We can get the app for the lights. We can get the app for the live stream, or restream.io, and then we can get all of the things to turn on. So all you have to do is turn on the mics. I could let him run the show, and I'll go get a coffee.
Yeah, don't tempt me. I may just come in here on the off times and
otherwise
shoot some stuff.
Otherwise, yeah, if it's not being utilized, I'm here. Good morning. I'm here 24/7, basically editing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot on the table that I'm excited to edit and get out there on our YouTube channel, which we have on this. I don't know. I got to turn the touchscreen on. It is a touchscreen, but we got to figure that out.
By the way, if you guys can't see the size of that TV, I mean, I don't think that this video even gives it perspective, but that's like a 85-inch TV, and we can basically manipulate it with our hands. We can actually draw on it. Really cool setup there. So top of the line, everything in here. I mean, we spared really no expense.
Yeah, it's designed to be kind of like talk show, you know, debate, newsroom, war room for syndicated real estate. And this is a big part of it, because in my mind, we can have a lot of things up there where you can draw and write out notes while we're going live, while we're talking and having a stream with maybe 5, 10, 20 of the nation's best, you know, syndicated real estate professionals, and we could do it live right there.
And that was part of the design. Is one of the things that we wanted to do, is because we're talking with real estate syndicators and industry professionals, you know, CCIMs, commercial real estate brokers, all across the country. And so, yes, it's going to be ideal when they travel and they come in here and, you know, we're doing it in studio. But even when they're not, if they're up on this screen, we can do it and still have a very similar feel to the show. So pretty excited about that. Yeah. And speaking of which, if you guys know any real estate professionals, and we want the best, we want the best of the best, the guys who are industry leaders. If you know some of them that would love to come in and do market updates about their specific metro areas and what's going on in commercial real estate, in multifamily, in you know, all the different asset classes, we would love to talk to some of those folks. That's some of the things that we're kind of in the works in right now, right? Is we want to have a variety to this content. A big part of our vision with PREIshare is to create market intelligence that's not out there in the marketplace right now, at least not at the capacity where, you know, the average investor has access to it, right? Most people, if they're trying to get, you know, direct, you know, information and high level stats, they've got to subscribe to a service that's very expensive. And so here we want to take the people that have access to those, plus we want to take the market intelligence of the people who are real inside deals, creating deals, you know, that are selling these commercial projects. And we want to look at what's really happening in the marketplace and help people make better decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, we captured gold through a lot of these. It's hard because, you know, we're putting out the full video on YouTube, but then, you know, I'm trying to break out all the gems and pieces of just that, just the best of the best content that we can feed and put out there to get people like engaged and having more of the conversations that need to be had. So I mean, there is so much opportunity and so many people, beautiful minds that we can just tap into. And this is just the starting process. We're just about to reach out. So yeah, if you know someone that would be fantastic to be on the show, please reach out to us. You can get in contact with us through just PREIshare.com. You can find us on there or the portal, or you can email me, just nferrari@PREIshare.com.
And then what we're finding too is, some of these guys that have access to these large networks, they love the idea of being able to tap in and use the studio for some of their own content. And we're in negotiations, if you will, with some folks. Like, for example, we have one gentleman who has access to, I think it's over 400 family offices. And he wants to come in here and, essentially not only show what we're doing to his audience, but also everything that he's already putting out there to his audience. He wants to raise the production value of it so we can help people in that way, right? And we want it to typically be like, we could easily just, have people spend money to come rent the studio space, but that's not really our goal. Yeah. We want more of a reciprocal relationship where, essentially we share networks, we share, content, we share strategy, and in the process, we all win.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're just getting started, really. And the studio, once it is known to be out there, because there's not a lot of studios like this in this area. Yeah. So with word of mouth, which is great advertising, and then good marketing, the marketing team that we have, which is phenomenal, we're bound to get some exposure out there to the right audience of people that we would love to have on the show to get guests, and having you on the other side of that, having the hardball questions. Yeah. And really getting some stuff that, and Kalani is not here today, but she's our other co-host. That would be just fantastic to have the engaged, conversation.
Absolutely. So, and then another type of guest that we plan on having on here is we want the small guys, the little guys, the passive investors, people that have put money into syndication. So a lot of those people might be at the level that they are an accredited investor, but in a lot of ways, there's a lot of everyday folks, right? It's the millionaire next door. And we want to make sure that they have a voice. We want to give them a voice and help us and all the syndicators out there understand their needs, their wants, their desires, so that we create a better marketplace there. And so if you guys know anybody that has invested in syndicated real estate transactions, they have money, they've had deals go wrong, and they have had bad experiences, and especially they've had things go right, and there's things that they would love to see that could help it become even better. We want to highlight those folks. Yeah.
And back to the point where you were talking about sharing the space with that particular person. We're not going to name them right now, but we will be great. It'll be great to have that partnership and have them in-house. They're really excited about it. We're really excited about it. So it's most likely going to happen. We're really going to change out the studio and have the look and feel specifically. So I'm going to dial it in just for him and make it look awesome. And that's a completely different audience than we have. So similar it's the sense of the syndicated real estate, but it's separate from our own listings and mailing listings and all the contact reach that we have. So that is exciting, because then as guests come on, they're not only joining forces with PREIshare and our audience, but they're also tapping into other partner like this person that could get, even a broader scale of reach and hopefully exposure to their projects, right? So, I mean, the benefit of being a PREIshare approved sponsor, you would have the reach that we have, and we really get excited about pushing you as a partner.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the big benefits with our fund. We are all about short cycle investing for the most part, right? We're late cycle investing or short cycle investing. And so if somebody comes in and they're an approved sponsor with us, which is kind of the requirement to be on the show to talk about your deal, is you've got to be an approved sponsor so that we know that we can deploy cash into your deals should you need it. But our goal is we then use our audience to backfill that money back out, and you just get regular investors and you build out your investor pool. So that's something that I think a lot of these guys are really excited about. Is it's not just about, hey, you go to somebody, they borrow you money at a high interest rate, and then you hope to perform and pay them back at some point. We want to help you in the process of being able to pay everything off faster. So, by the way, I want to make sure if there's anything going on in the chat. Okay, we're good. So the last thing that I wanted to cover, and then maybe you have more, is we're actually in the process right now of building out a board of directors. And I would love your guys' insights. If you've watched this far, if you're still in the video, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching this, the recording, I would love to hear if you had anybody, if you could choose anybody in the world to be on your board of directors for a real estate fund, who would you choose? And I want you to think the highest of the highest level, right? Think about, and I don't want to coach you guys with names necessarily, but influencers like Robert Kiyosaki, for example, or the top guys at Bain Capital, or who would it be? Who would it be that you would choose if you could get absolutely anybody to be on your board of directors for a real estate fund? I would love to hear the names of who you guys would choose.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who we bring on. We've already talked about with our meeting yesterday, our partner meeting. We already talked about so many great names, and I mean, obviously, we love them all as advisors because their history is immense, and especially their extraordinary, just talent in the industry would bring so much value to us and really help, guide us, as the purpose of the advisor.
Right.
So,
and that's our goal with our board of advisors, is we want to have the best of the best, the most brilliant minds, people that have, incredible backgrounds. And we want to make sure that they are committed to our success just as much as we're committed to theirs. And that we really get those insights, because our goal is not to just come in here and start a fund and make some money. We want to change the industry for the better.
Yeah, this is the start of building communities within what we're doing, what we're creating, and the products that we have, which are fantastic. They're a big need for what the industry has needed, and that's from some of the biggest people in the industry, like Mike and other people part of our team. So I'm excited to show you more of the studio once it's a little bit further along. We're not turning the camera around the other way because we're working on it today.
But, I mean, I'll show you, but it's just all you'll see is construction stuff. Here, let me unplug. So there's the basics of the studio right now. We've got the sign turned off right now, so because it was creating a glare on the TV. But we'll do in the near future, we'll do a live like this where we'll actually show you around the studio. We'll turn the lights on. We'll show you the different scenes. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that Nik showed me just was it yesterday or a couple of days ago, that he's got different scenes set up. So if we want to have more of a bright scene where everybody is very well lit, and you have the clean white background, or you can have more of a darker scene, and more of a moody scene, I would call it, that's where we have these lights right here that can kind of bring these back, the backlighting with our colors, of course, right? Yeah. With our branded colors. And that's the fun part about this, is when you design a studio like this that can be so customizable, somebody else could come in and we could switch the colors up to essentially their brand colors, mm-hmm. and give a similar look that is distinctly different from ours. So
yeah, you may not, for instance, if we do, again, in reality, if we bring that person on as a partner and they're shooting stuff here, you won't recognize it other than the TV. You're going to see the TV maybe, but we're going to have it changed up quite a bit. So it's very versatile space. It's small. It's not super huge, but it's beautiful. And the people that I'm getting feedback from, they all want to use it so far.
Yeah. And this big desk is actually, completely custom designed to where it's modular. Mm-hmm. It can move. You can actually open it up to a bigger space. You can close it into a smaller space, and we can actually just take it out or take half of it out, so that we can create different scenes. So a lot of fun with what we have planned, and I hope you guys will all tune in.
That's everything for me. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to add. So yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
I normally aren't on the live.
That's true. He's usually watching and creating stuff in the background. So thanks for being here, guys, and have a great day.